joining us now, a very special guest, Ken Wisenhunt, the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us today on the Cadillac Countdown
Spencer,
to Super Bowl.
Thank you very much, Spencer. Glad to be here.
You know, we've been talking a little bit off camera about what to expect from the coach's standpoint. Having been the offensive coordinator, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know something about that. What's going through the hearts and the minds right now of the coaches and the players as we wind down a day away?
Well, it's just a long wait. You know, all your work's done for the week. The game preparation's done. Now it's just waiting for the game. And what you try to do is minimize the distractions. Keep your routine as normal as you can. What you normally would do on a Saturday, what you would normally do pregame on a Sunday, just so you're not thinking about the magnitude of the game, which is obviously a big one.
Now, some of the things that the coaches are doing a little bit atypical than in the past. Tony Dungy moving his guys a day before leaving the family back. Is that necessary? And if, in fact, it is, how effective do you think it will be?
Well, we did that last year, so I think it's a good tool to use because it gets you away from it all, gives you a chance to concentrate, especially Saturday night, which is your last really meetings as a team where you focus on, you know, the last game time preparations, what you want to get done, you know, thinking about the game. It just gets you away from all the distractions.
Coach, we want to take you inside the game now. You're known for your offensive mind. Everybody's focusing on Indianapolis and how prolific they are, certainly balanced, and they have been so in the postseason as well, almost more so than they have during the regular go. Something has come about that program where they jumped it to another gear. What will Chicago have to do to keep that offense at bay?
Chicago's going to have to stop the run. I think what Indianapolis is going to try to do is set up their passes down the field with the run game. If they can get Urlacher, they can get Briggs to step up to honor the run game, that's going to open up the seams for the vertical throws downfield for Peyton, for the deep ends where they can move the ball down the field.
One of the things we've noticed and we've talked about, it's kind of been a theme of our time together, is the play of Dallas Clark at the tight end position. You know, Marvin Harrison has been kept pretty much under 60 yards for 8 consecutive playoff appearances. Everyone decides to take him out. But how important, as an old tight end would know, how important has that tight end position been for him?
Well, I think it's good. If you're going to focus on taking away Marvin Harrison, then you got to have somebody else step up. When you've got a guy like Dallas, especially one that can win down the middle of the field, it gives you an opportunity to make some big plays in the game, and I think that was critical in the AFC Championship game.
And we talk about the positions, but obviously a lot of attention, Coach, has been put on the coaches. This is kind of a historic day, no question about that, with Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy, the first African-American head coaches to appear in the Super Bowl, and of course they did it in grand fashion. Both of them happen to be African-American in this single year in Super Bowl 41. What about the temperament of these two particular guys? They are unique, aren't they?
Well, you know, from what I've heard, and I know them a little bit just in talking to them, very calm demeanor, you know, command a lot of respect on the sideline. If anything ever gets crazy, which you know it does on game day on the sidelines, they have a calming influence on the team, especially in a big game like this.
When you take a look at Tony Dungy's career records, they really are quite impressive. 114 and 62 losses only. In the playoffs, he's 8-8, however, and that's what we want to kind of touch on a little bit. Everyone talks about how Peyton Manning won't be vindicated until he wins the big game. Is Tony Dungy going to gain the full respect of the league-wide opinion if he wins this Super Bowl, or is it going to take even more?
Well, I certainly think that there's a league-wide opinion of Tony Dungy that he's a fantastic football coach. That goes without saying. But you know what? I tell you what, you look at Coach Cowher and what it did for him last year when he won the Super Bowl after having been there a number of times and not won it, the championship game and the Super Bowl once before. So I think maybe it'll give him that credibility that a lot of people are looking to give him. But, you know, certainly he's an excellent football coach.
All right, Coach, again, a reoccurring theme for us here on the show. Each week we've noted how the clouds tend to increase, and even as we speak, it seems like there's a little bit more moisture getting in the air. If it turns out to be a mutter, how does this particular game play out in your mind?
Well, I think probably because Chicago's a bigger, faster football team, if you get onto a field where Indianapolis won't be able to use their speed, it's going to equalize that out, and probably the favor will go back to Chicago.
Yeah, fair enough. Coach, let's talk about who you like in this particular contest. Again, a guy who has a great offensive mind. I respect that a great deal. I think that Chicago really has an advantage in some way, but I look at Indianapolis. They're going to be awful tough to beat because of their balance. What's your take, Coach?
Well, you know what? This game's a lot about momentum. Last year for us, the Steelers, in that postseason run, we had some big games that we won at the end that were tight games that gave us the confidence. If you look at what Indianapolis has done in the last 2 games, certainly being down in the last game, in the championship game, 20-3 at half, coming back, scoring right before the half, and then winning in the second half will provide them that confidence, I think, that'll carry them in this game.
Let me back up and talk a little bit about Lovie Smith, just to get fair and balanced reporting here. Lovie Smith, obviously understudy of Tony Dungy on that staff at Tampa Bay. What do you know about him, and what do you think makes him unique as a head coach?
Well, I tell you what, success. They've been very good when he's been there. I know that from having played their defense, they're a disciplined defense. They play fast. They play aggressive. That's a reflection of the head coach. And I think also they've been successful, won a lot of games. That's always something that is a tremendous accomplishment.
All right, Coach, let's bring the subject right back home to you in Arizona. You've got a loaded cast of characters coming back, some talented players. What should we look for next year out of Arizona?
I think you should look for a smart, tough, physical football team that's going to give ourselves a chance to win some football games. We've got a good core. We're going to try to get some depth so we have some competition at positions this year. And I think we're going to put a product on the field that's going to make the city of Phoenix happy.
Ken Wisenhunt, thanks so much for joining us, Coach. We appreciate your time. We know you're busy out here.